Hey guys, what is going on? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, and welcome back to The Fragrance Well. I think we've got a very interesting video topic for today. A few months ago, I went on ChatGPT and I asked it, what is the top 10 reasons to wear a fragrance? It gave me 10 reasons. I do believe they were ranked, but it might have just given me 10. But however, I looked at the reasons and I agree with all of them. I personally would have rearranged the order of them if they were indeed ranked, but doesn't matter. I got them written down here, and what I did was I put a fragrance for all of the reasons that it gave me, and we're gonna go over them in this video. So I'm gonna start at number 10 and we'll work all the way up to number 1, assuming that it actually was ranked. But before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like this content, and remember to hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this started. So reason number 10, the 10th top reason to wear a fragrance is what I would put as number 1 personally. Sensory pleasure. In other words, you just simply want to enjoy the fragrance. To me, if you don't enjoy a fragrance, I personally would not wear it. It doesn't make sense for me to wear a fragrance that you don't enjoy, even if it serves another purpose. I would rather enjoy the fragrance first. Now, I do think you can find a fragrance that you enjoy and it can serve an additional purpose in addition to just enjoying how it smells. But anyway, the fragrance I chose for that is coming from Amouage. This is Interlude Man. Amouage's Interlude Man. I simply love this scent. This is a smoky, leathery, incense-heavy fragrance. A very deep and dark incense fragrance is the name of the game with this one, and I just freaking love the way it smells. I have an idea in my head of certain events I might say this one would really work well for that, but I have pretty much worn it whenever I just wanted to, anytime I've worn it, and literally for no other reason other than I just enjoy the fragrance. I've talked about how I've worn this fragrance to go play Top Golf. If this is not a fragrance you would think, oh, I'm gonna go play Top Golf and wear Interlude Man and I'm gonna kill him. No, I wore the fragrance simply because I wanted to enjoy it that day, and I did. So, for the 10th reason, sensory pleasure. My fragrance of choice for this list from the House of Amouage is Interlude Man. Alright guys, so the 9th top reason to wear a fragrance according to ChatGPT is to complement an outfit. I think that's also kind of a fun one, but also a little bit subjective. Some people might think something else makes more sense for a certain outfit, but then I think there are ones where this fragrance definitely screams whatever outfit kind of vibe your outfit is putting out, the fragrance matches with it. Anyway, the thing is, I could have chosen anything because obviously there's a ton of different outfits I could feature. For this one, I chose basically like wearing a lot of black, a lot of dark colors, if not all black altogether. And the fragrance I chose to do that is going to be Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. Now, I should have thought about this beforehand. I apologize. I know this is a fragrance that a lot of people have not necessarily gotten their nose on, so I should have chose something different, but it's what I got right now. We're gonna roll with it. However, this fragrance definitely gives off a vibe that can work with all black or just dark colors in general. This is obviously a tobacco and oud fragrance, but also has a little bit of a booziness to it and has some really kind of dark, smoky, earthy tones to it. That's why I think it could work well with dark colors or an all black outfit, especially if it's dressed up. To me, this fragrance has a lot of sophistication to it, has a little bit of a I like to play in the mud kind of a vibe to it, but I do think the fragrance just would pair well with an all black outfit. And like I said, I could have chose any outfit, so again, this is a little bit subjective. I just decided to give an example and I went with this fragrance. So once again, from Tom Ford, matching with a all black outfit or just, a fragrance that can match with an outfit. Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud. Oh man, I got the cap all crooked. Look at me. Tobacco Oud, Tom Ford. All right, guys, the top 8th reason to wear a fragrance is to create memories. This one can literally be anything. Let's just be honest, you don't really know exactly when really great memories will be created outside of maybe a special event, but even at that special event, it might not be as memorable as you would hope it to be. But anyway, for the purpose of the video, I'm actually going to choose a memory that's very strong in my mind and I already have, and I'm going to associate it with a person, my grandfather, and I've talked about this fragrance before. This is Aramis. This is Aramis. Pretty simple reason why this one makes this category. It's a fragrance my grandfather wore, and every time I smell it, I can see him. It's almost like he's standing there. Very strong scent memory with this fragrance, possibly the strongest. Now in my mind, if I wanted to do something, or should I say wear a fragrance where I think maybe it'll create a memory, a wedding can be something like that, maybe a milestone birthday, a celebration for something, and whatever fragrance I want to wear, maybe I want to associate it with that memory. But in my mind, that's not a guarantee because maybe the event just doesn't go as planned. But you never know. Anything is possible in terms of creating a scent memory or something used to create memories, because you never know when those memorable moments could happen. So that one is totally wide open. But like I said, I just chose to use a good example of a memory that I already associate with scent, and that's this one right here. Makes me think of my grandfather. Every time I smell it, there's no denying it. So once again, this is Aramis. This is just the eau de toilette. All right, guys, so the sixth top reason to wear a fragrance, cultural tradition. Now, I do think here in the States, that's not going to be as important for some people, unless, you know, you're a part of a culture that is outside of it just being American culture. Scent, or the power of scent, is not as big in American culture as it is in other cultures. But there is one instance, or should I say one cultural tradition that the United States has where you can definitely very easily associate smell with it. That's going to be the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas time. So for that, I chose this fragrance. I think it's a very easy choice. This is Lalique's Ombre Noire. Lalique Ombre Noire. Pretty easy reason why I chose this one. It smells like Christmas time in a bottle. It's kind of a more boozy take on what Christmas time might smell like depending on where you are, but it definitely has that combination of spices and kind of smoky nature that you would definitely associate with smells you might smell around the holidays. There's a lot of peppermint in here. There's some cinnamon notes. Like I said, it already has a boozy nature to it as well. Has a very smoky woodiness to it. It instantly reminds me of one time when I walked into an apple orchard, or what was it? They were making apple cider there, and it was in a barn, and it definitely had a particular smell to it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of apple cider, but I do like the way it smells. And I was a kid, so yeah, there wasn't a bunch of booze around, but the kind of spice profile that this has makes me think of that. So I do think in terms of the holidays, you can find fragrances that can speak to American culture, but there's plenty of other cultural significant smells that are associated with certain things that you can definitely find in perfumery. So cultural significance is a good reason to wear fragrances sometimes. And the one I chose is from Lalique, and this is Ombre Noire. All right, guys, if I'm not mistaken, I think I called the last fragrance the sixth reason to wear a fragrance. That was actually the seventh. So this is the sixth one here, and it is to complete grooming. That actually makes a lot of sense to me because I do use my fragrance choices as a part of my grooming for the day. I just change it up. This is another one, though, that can literally be anything up to a point, I think. If you're wearing something that's got a lot of funk to it and you're trying to come off as, you know, clean, that may not be the best fragrance choice. But what I decided to do was use a fragrance that I think pretty much can complete any outfit. In other words, it's a very versatile scent, and that is going to be Acqua di Gio Profumo from Giorgio Armani. Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profumo. My backup choice would have been Bleu de Chanel Parfum, but I decided to go with this one instead. Just because I haven't talked about it in a while. But, I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Acqua di Gio fan, but one thing I cannot deny, especially with Profumo, it works with anything. It can work with any outfit. It can work for any occasion. So if you just simply want to complete your grooming by adding a fragrance to your grooming regimen, how can you go wrong with one that pretty much works with anything? You probably already know it well. It's an aquatic, aromatic scent, but this one in particular, added some incense and patchouli to it to give it a little bit more depth, a little bit more versatility in my opinion too, making it an even better complete your grooming choice versus, say, the original Acqua di Gio or some of the other flankers. Yeah, in my mind, any fragrance that just either makes you smell clean, just kind of makes you smell pleasant, can be a good complete grooming choice, but it can honestly extend to a lot of other styles of fragrances. Just depends on how you're dressed that day. But anyway, this is the one I chose for this category, Complete Your Grooming. From Giorgio Armani, this is Acqua di Gio Profumo. All right, guys, so we're going to the top 5th reason to wear a fragrance, and that's aromatherapy. Personally, I think the best way to use fragrance as an aromatherapy method is actually going to be to use raw oils, particularly from oils that, you know, give a sense of relaxation. That's going to be stuff like lavender, maybe sage, spearmint, notes like that, you know, relaxing fragrance oils. But some fragrances can work for it too, and I've talked about this in a short I did before. This is from Yves Saint Laurent, and this is La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique from Yves Saint Laurent. Now this is primarily going to be a date night fragrance. That's kind of what it was designed for, but I have stated in the short I did before that I actually like to spray this on at the end of a long day sometimes to help me kind of wind down and relax. And I think what allows me to do that is the lavender that's in here mixing with the ginger and also that cardamom that is ever present in most of the La Nuit de l'Homme fragrances. Cardamom is definitely more of thought of as a sexy fragrance scent, and I do agree, it has that quality. But let's just say you want to put your mind in a different state, that's not really what you're going for. I think it has a relaxing feature to it as well, but I think that's aided mainly because of the lavender and the ginger that's in here. Both of those are known to have relaxing qualities. And this is another one that, it could vary in terms of what you might put into this category, but I do think when you have notes that are known to be used for giving off a relaxing quality to their scent profile, any fragrance that features that in some kind of way and doesn't have something that kind of counters it too much can be used for this fragrance category. So once again, this is Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique for the aromatherapy. All right, guys, on to the top 4th reason to wear a fragrance is going to be to express personality. I think this one is very important. I think this is one that maybe a lot of people don't really pay attention to, and it's understandable maybe if you're at a certain age where you don't really fully understand yourself yet. You're still kind of developing who you are as a person. So older guys, I think, can relate to this a little bit better, but I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I know it kind of was that way for me. My personality developed as I got a little bit older, and I'm still relatively young, but I'm not like super young. But anyway, the fragrance I chose is one that I think expresses my personality, and that is Chanel, Le Lion de Chanel. Le Lion de Chanel. This one here, I think, does speak to my personality, where it's kind of reserved. And when I say reserved, this fragrance is not like a weak fragrance. It's not a reserved fragrance. It's actually quite strong and powerful, but it is very simple in what it offers. That's what I mean by reserved. I don't see myself as a super complicated person, but I do see myself as having the ability to be an outward personality if I need to be, but most of the time I kind of like to just be to myself. So I'm able to kind of play both sides of it, if you will, and I think this fragrance does that. The fragrance in and of itself is quite strong, quite loud, but it's also very simple. It's primarily featuring just labdanum. That's it. It's kind of a smoky, resinous fragrance, has some leatheriness to it, a touch of citrus on the top to give it a little bit of brightness, and that's about it. But and it does have a little bit of an animalic quality to it, but I don't think there's any actual animalic notes in here. It just kind of comes across that way. The story behind this fragrance is Coco Chanel is a Leo, and I didn't know that when I actually, knew I wanted the fragrance. I found it out after the fact. I happen to be a Leo too. I am not really big into the whole horoscope stuff, or all that. It's not a thing I really get into, but it is an interesting fact. Maybe that's something that is more important to somebody else, and maybe you find a fragrance that was inspired by a specific zodiac sign. So that's something that could be a personality choice, but I think this one expresses my personality, and I do think that is a good reason to have maybe one fragrance that kind of speaks to that. I'm not saying all your fragrances have to, but anyway, express personality. I do think that's a good reason to use fragrances, and my choice is this one from Chanel, Le Lion de Chanel. All right, guys, the top third reason given by ChatGPT to wear a fragrance is going to be to leave a lasting impression. Now, for me personally, I would put this one way further down the list. I don't think it's a bad thing to want to leave a lasting impression, especially for maybe a specific occasion or you're meeting a specific person. But honestly, to me, this is wearing a fragrance for other people rather than wearing it for yourself. That's not something I put high on my list, but that's just me. That being said, here's a fragrance where I think I did leave an impression on at least one person, and it's going to be from the house of Nishane. This is Papilefiko. Nishane's Papilefiko. So, you might have heard a couple people talk about this within the community. I've certainly given it some shine. This is a balsamic fragrance, but primarily very spicy, very bright, kind of clean, aromatic, balsamic fragrance. The reason I put this here and why I say I think I left a lasting impression is the last time I wore this, got quite a few compliments. It was for work, and I got quite a few compliments on the fragrance. And one person in particular, and I told this story before, mentioned how the fragrance did not have that alcohol-y smell. And then I proceeded to tell her about the fragrance and why that is. And I think that might have left an impression where maybe she, thought like, hey, fragrances can be a lot higher quality than I'm used to experiencing, Now, that may not be that much of a lasting impression, but the point is it made her think of something other than, oh, it just simply smells good, and then move on. It actually started a conversation. She got to thinking about stuff. I told her, I responded and, gave her some information. Maybe that's information she could have used in her purchases. If she wears fragrances, it could influence her purchases in the future. You never know, right? I do think that is a possible lasting impression I might have left with the fragrance choice. Now, this wasn't the first time I met this person. As I said, this is one of the places where I work. She's seen me before, and she's gonna see me again. So it's not like, oh, you just left an imprint and then they're never gonna see you again. They're gonna think about you forever. That's not necessarily what leaving a lasting impression actually means, in my opinion. It could be that, but it's not just that. But yeah, I think this fragrance had an impact on the people that smelled it that day. And with this person in particular, it wasn't just simply, oh, you smell good and that was it. So once again, this is Nishane's Papilefiko. And by the way, I think really any fragrance has the potential to have this impact. All right, guys, the top second reason or top two reason why you might want to wear a fragrance is going to be to enhance your mood. I do like this reason, and I definitely have fragrances that I use for that purpose. And this is one of them from the house of Day 3 Fragrances. This is Bani. Day 3 Fragrances, Bani. This is definitely going to be thought of as kind of like a vacation style fragrance. Has a very tropical vibe to it. A lot of mango leaf in this fragrance. That's kind of the premier note in it. Definitely has that kind of solar characteristic to it. Not fully suntan lotion like, but just kind of put you in that mindset. You definitely think beachside waves, fresh, salty air. The fragrance itself is not salty, but it kind of just puts you in that mindset, I think. And as a result, I think fragrances like that have a great capability of lifting your mood. It might be a different type of fragrance for you. So again, this could be kind of subjective, I think. It could be anything. For somebody, something completely different might be something that elevates their mood. But in my opinion, fragrances that have that vacation vibe to them are good mood lifters, and they are fragrances that I use to lift my mood when I need a bit of a boost, if you will. Or if it's just a gloomy, ugly day outside and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to wear something that matches the mood of the day. I actually want to wear something uplifting, so I might spray something like Bani on. But yeah, I think this is a good reason to wear fragrances as well. So once again, from Day 3 Fragrances, this is Bani. All right, guys, we have made it to the top reason to wear a fragrance, and that is going to be to boost confidence. Now, frankly, it's not the top reason for me why I would wear a fragrance, but I can 100% understand and agree why this would be the top reason. I'm pretty sure most people get into fragrances to find a confidence boost in them, and typically that's going to be because they're looking for positive attention. In the case of males, it's from the opposite sex. Let's just be real. We're all adults here. We know what it is. But I figured, hey, why not just go ahead and go with a choice that is pretty much guaranteed to at least give you some positive attention. And that's going to be from the house of Dior, and it's Sauvage. Yep, Dior Sauvage, I would call this an anticlimactic ending. Climatic ending. I don't know why I put that extra C in the word, but let's just be real. This is a fragrance that gets positive attention. You can't deny it. Doesn't matter if you like the fragrance or hate it, it's gonna give you those results. And in my opinion, if you're looking to boost confidence, and that's the sole reason you're wearing fragrances, then you pretty much are gonna want something that's gonna be mass appealing. I still would suggest that it be one that you like because there are other fragrances other than Sauvage that can definitely get you positive attention, but this is easily the most popular one right now. You know it well. Kind of has a shower gel smell, but it's quite spicy. Lots of ambroxan in here. You definitely get a sense for what ambroxan can smell like in a fragrance if you get Sauvage. But yeah, lots of spices. Good amount of lavender too, so it has just kind of a shower gel like vibe. Not a great shower gel in my opinion, but a shower gel vibe. So you're gonna smell kind of clean but very spicy, and depending on which concentration you get, it's either gonna be a little bit more reserved or a little bit louder, the Eau de Toilette being the loudest, most metallic version of the Sauvage DNA. There's just no denying it. This fragrance can definitely be a confidence booster because you're more than likely going to get some attention from it some way or another. And you know what? It doesn't matter if people are familiar with it. They still enjoy the scent profile. So, I think it's a good choice. But personally, I would go another direction. But I figured, let's just go with the one that's tried and true. So once again, from the house of Dior, this is Sauvage. And this will definitely help to get you some attention and potentially boost your confidence. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. So according to ChatGPT, that was the top 10 reasons to wear a fragrance, and I gave a fragrance for each of those reasons. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Do you think this is a good list of reasons to wear a fragrance? And hey, just pick one of them and say, hey, I wear this fragrance for this reason, or all 10 of them. Give me a different list. I would love to see what you guys say. I appreciate you guys watching all the way into the end. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.